The Shelby County mayoral race officially has a Republican candidate. John DeBerry pulled his petition Thursday, and the Shelby County Republican Party is standing behind him. If you are a longtime Memphian or from Shelby County, you know that former Tennessee State Representative John DeBerry was a longtime Democrat, but the party voted him out because of allegations he had Republican donor financing, voted contrary to the party, and had a strong pro-life stance. Here's why Republican Party Chair Rachel Wall believes he is their best choice.
I think voters look beyond race. I think they're ready to support a candidate who wants to take on our crime problems, face and resolve our education problems, someone who really understands what it means to run a county government in a responsible way. And I think it's both Republicans and Democrats who will be highly interested in supporting a candidate like John DeBerry who can do those things.
Now, that was Wall's response to when I asked her if race factored into their decision to go forward with John DeBerry. But Otis, start us off here a little bit. You know, what do you think of this choice, and is it a good one?
Well, I think it's the one that they felt that they had to have if they wanted to get somebody with name recognition, because they were having trouble recruiting people to run under the Republican banner for county mayor. Let's remember now, John DeBerry, as you said, was a longtime Democratic state representative. He voted contrary to a lot of the Democratic policies, abortion being just one of them. He voted for Glenn Cassida to be Speaker of the House, and we know how that turned out. He wound up getting convicted of a crime, although he got pardoned. So yeah, they got rid of him, but he still ran as an independent in that race. I think that was back in 2022. But he got trounced by Tory Harris, 77% to 22.5%, and that was a pretty much all Democratic district. If the Republicans are thinking that John DeBerry is going to pull a lot of Democratic votes, I think they are pipe dreaming here. This is a highly polarized environment that we're in. She may be right about one thing, that party may trump, and I hate to use that word, but party may trump race to a degree, but I don't think that the Democrats in any kind of measurable number are going to cross over and vote for.
Look, it's no secret that the Republican Party has been looking for some time for a candidate to run for county mayor. Yeah. And John DeBerry was not their first choice.
No, he was not.
I know that they talked to Mark Luttrell, offered the position to him, our former sheriff and former county mayor, who talk about having experience and knows how to run county government. He said no. Right. They even, I think somebody asked Mark Billingsley, who used to sit on the show, why don't you run for county mayor as a Republican? And he said, I can't win that. Right. Now, if Mark Billingsley can't win county mayor as a Republican, I can promise you John DeBerry has an uphill battle. Yeah. And good luck with that. But, you know, when people get, so they say, bit by the bug in politics, I mean, reasoning doesn't often work. Common sense doesn't work. Me? Yeah, you learned your lessons too, didn't you?
I'm sorry.
You learned your lesson. You know, John DeBerry is a nice man. He served 24 years in the State House. And I think he was defeated, he served in 2020, and he served now almost 6 years as an advisor to Governor Lee as a Republican. He will be a Republican candidate, but he will not win.
Well, John DeBerry was an interesting tactic. It was interesting. Whether it's going to be successful in the minds of the voters is another question. Worth Morgan, to address your point, Worth Morgan was their best chance, but when Worth decided he was not going to run, I think they know that it's not going to go to a Republican. I think Worth would have lost as well. He would have shown well. But here's the point. What's going to happen is that John DeBerry's presence is just going to make it easier for somebody who is not an established politician to win the race. I think that's what's going to happen.
All right. Well, I do want to take you all down memory lane for a bit. Back when Otis used to do Otis's Point of View, those segments for our newscasts, I went to the archives and pulled up the one that you talked about this very topic on. So let's take a listen.
Tennessee Democrats took advantage of our preoccupation with news about the coronavirus outbreak to make some controversial news themselves. The state party's executive committee voted this week to kick longtime state representative John DeBerry of Memphis out of the party, which means he cannot run for re-election as a Democrat in the August primary, and it's too late for him to qualify as an independent. The reason for all this? DeBerry often votes like a Republican, and he is no longer helping the Democratic Party's more liberal causes. Of course, everyone who follows local and state politics knows that DeBerry has never toed the party line. He has repeatedly voted in favor of measures to restrict abortion, and last year he cast perhaps the deciding vote in the House to pass a highly controversial school voucher bill, going against every other local Democratic lawmaker and public school leaders in the city and suburbs. But DeBerry has served in the legislature 26 years, and voters in House District 90 have never had any trouble sending him back to Nashville every 2 years. Fellow local Democrats Ramesh Akberry and G.A. Hardaway strongly objected to expelling DeBerry from the party, and good for them. I believe the executive committee is being petty and vindictive. The voters should decide his political future, not a group of party insiders. This is another example of partisan politics at its worst. And that's my point of view. I'm Otis Sanford for Local 24 News.
Man.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
Gotta love it. I just want to bring up one thing. I mentioned that John DeBerry was the Republican Party's maybe even third or fourth choice, but the running for Shelby County mayor as a Republican was not John DeBerry's first choice. He had toyed with running for governor, believe it or not, and he also had toyed for running for the 9th Congressional District as a Republican against Steve Cohen. So running for mayor is his third choice.
And you know, the Democratic side is very congested, so we know there's like 7 or 8 candidates there and some front runners. And when I talked to Rachel Walsh, she was very confident that putting all of their resources behind the one Republican was a better strategy than what the Democrats are doing at this point. So let's say we get past primaries. John DeBerry will probably obviously win the Republican. Let's say he's up against any one of the top 3, and as of right now, according to fundraising, that would be J.B. Smiley, Mikkel Lowry, and from what I saw, Heidi Kuhn. What would be his chances against either one of those 3?
I've seen the polls. You've seen a poll.
Yeah, I believe that the Democrat has the edge here,
Yeah.
and it's based on numbers. And again, it's based on that polarization that's going on from Washington all the way down to Memphis. And so there's nothing that I believe John DeBerry can do to overcome that. Again, if he had been so strong when they kicked him out, which I disagreed with back then, and he still ran as an independent that year, he still got beat by 50 points. So I just don't see it.
And speaking of funds and the ability to run races, well, if the Republicans have money they just want to throw into the wind, then I guess John DeBerry as their candidate for county mayor is as good a resource to spend as any.
Is anybody else?
And what do you all think of his future, just long-term political goals? Obviously, we're in a deep red state, but if he stays in Shelby County, we got this blue spot. But with the rhetoric on the national level and seeing, you know, a minority man running as a Republican, you know, what does that say for him in the long term?
I think he could become a good spokesman for the Republican Party.
No, I agree.
Be a good face for the Republican Party, but elected office, I think he's had his day.
Yeah, his elected office is over. He should hope for another appointment by whoever that is, because I don't think he's going to get elected anything.
Well, John DeBerry is a very respected pastor in the Memphis area as well. He's got something to do, so he'll be all right.
He'll be fine.
All right.
Well, he had a high six-figure salary working for the government.
Absolutely.
So he's not doing bad.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. All right, when we come back, Memphis Mayor Paul Young's State of the City address took a very distracting turn. We'll talk all about it, and just stay with us.